Yo, it's ODB from OLP. Thanks for coming back and always checking out the content. I so appreciate it. On this episode, I'm going to call my friend Nat Hodgson from the Northeast. We're going to talk trucks, we're going to talk tacos, and we're going to talk more, maybe some tailgates as well. But what I want to do is give a huge shout out to Scraping the Coast this coming weekend, which is the 26th, 27th, 28th of June every year. So it's an annual event in Biloxi. Come on out. This year is going to be amazing. We're hearing a bunch of different vehicles that are going to be there. Inside is going to be awesome as always. And if you happen to hear this prior to the event, just know we're going to have some merchandise that we've never had before. By the way, Too Ballistic, that merch came in record time thanks to Graphic Disorder. We had all of that lined up and planned very well. However, not just the Too Ballistic, we're going to have a ton of other stuff, things that we've never brought to market before. And I don't even want to give any hints. I just want to let you know that if you have the opportunity to come by, I also want to announce that Eddie Atkinson and is it Paisley is his daughter, two really great supporters of ours. I've hinted a little bit about this, but they are going to be in our booth with their S10 for Scraping the Coast. And what we'd like to reinforce with it is, we don't always have the freshest, newest, craziest builds in our booth. We also want to lean on our great supporters like Eddie Atkinson and his awesome daughter, Paisley, and his awesome wife. Just a good family. They've been supporting us a long time, so we certainly appreciate that. But Scraping the Coast this coming weekend, if you get a chance, come on out. Even if it's just for the day, you'll have a blast. They have announced via social media, search Scraping with an IN, thecoast.com. They've got the full schedule out there for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we hope to see you there. But really, I don't have a lot to share on this lead up to calling Matt. And I know some people always go, yo, Ballard, I miss the longer content. I totally get it. I've got some other interviews that I've already done. I've got some big ones coming, and those are fun to do. It's the summer now, so I'm kind of balancing that work-life, family, balancing beam, and it feels good. Just excited to get out to Scraping. 3 months later, we're going to be back in Biloxi for the freaking weekend, and that's the 19th, 20th, and 21st. I've heard of many people coming out to it. If you want to pre-register, get on their website, get a hold of Trip, and we hope to see you there because that's another awesome show. And it's a totally different feel. It's a totally different vibe than Scraping, but the after party Saturday night is worth it. And if you pre-register, as Trip said on OLP, you get access to that after party, which is, oh, by the way, right there at the hotel across the street with the boardwalk to the Harrah's Hotel. So it's going to be awesome, the Harrah's Hotel and Casino. Other than that, yes, Mike is back. Every week, we're not going to get a chance, or every other week, we're not going to get a chance to still always sync up. Just yesterday, at the time of this recording, the Too Ballistic merchandise came in. So Miggity Mike and Mrs. Mayer, they were feverishly getting those bagged and tagged because Mike was literally within 12 hours of receiving that order going to be dropping some of the pre-sale items in the mail. I believe he's going to try to do like 2 drop-offs. The first day, which would have been Thursday the 18th, and then technically, I think, federal holiday on the 19th. And then so like Monday, Tuesday, the rest of it would hopefully go out. And that would allow for all of you all to get the merchandise that participated in the pre-sale around the time that everyone else gets it, which those that opted to pick up at Scraping the Coast with that code, they'll be able to come by and grab their bag. Makes it easy, avoids the shipping, and all is well in the mini truck world. So if you didn't get a chance or you didn't participate, maybe you didn't see the pre-sale, come on out to Scraping the Coast. I'm telling you, this has been one of our biggest, actually our biggest pre-sale ever. What do you think of the colors that we incorporated with Randy's Too Ballistic, the amazing build, Eric Felber, and all of those good kinfolk that came together on that amazing project that we documented unlike any other platform. And we were super excited to launch our version of Too Ballistic. So thank you very much. Keep it posted to social media, Instagram, Facebook. I'll try to upload some YouTube shorts, but at Scraping, I'm going to be boots on the ground, moving around pretty good. And I'm going to be posting a lot of content, primarily focusing on mini trucks, And I'm going to try to focus, or any of the focus I put on full size trucks, I'm going to try to put that over on our full size Syndicate Instagram/Facebook. And you can get a chance to see that content there. That way it'll kind of be a clear delineation between minis and full sizes. So good stuff. Now, speaking of full sizes, I want to give a shout out to Southeast All Truck Nationals, also known as Biggie Nats. I love that they did this. Mini Nats, minis, Biggie Nats, biggies, in terms of the bigger trucks. So if you get a chance, Southeast All Truck Nationals 2026 is October 9th, 10th, and 11th. That's in Maggie Valley. So think mini Nats every April. 6 months later, October is going to be Biggie Nats, which is kind of the slang term for the All Truck Nationals. It's going to be fantastic. You can get out there and find vendor information, and you can also register for 2026. I believe you basically fill out a Google form. It's real simple. You do have to upload photos of your vehicle. Once it's approved, you receive an email, you make the payment, and all is good out there. So we're excited to hopefully see you out there as well. Mini Truck Hall of Fame, don't have a lot of updates to share. If you can, follow Mini Truck Hall of Fame on Instagram, Facebook. We will hopefully be announcing the 2026 inductees very, very soon. Many people are going to go, hey, when is the event? The event is always the Monday of SEMA week, and that's in conjunction with the Freaks of Nature SEMA kickoff event, which is fantastic. That's where it's always been, and I think that's where it will continue to stay. But just know it should be that very first Monday in November. Once we have the details locked down, which Radar handles pretty much all of that, we will release it via social media as well. I believe that's all I have. If you're a father, or if you're a son or daughter, happy Father's Day to you. For those like myself that our pops has passed away, rest in peace to your pops. I truly hope that you have a great weekend. And if you're a dad, kick back a little bit, enjoy, as my dad would say, the fruits of the labor, and, spend some time with your family, or get out if you're a golfer, or whatever you decide you want to do. Spend a little bit of time for yourself, clear your head, and have fun. ODB, we at ya. Stay on the rise, my friends. Peace. Hey, I want to welcome to the podcast again, Matt Hodgson. How are you?
Doing well, brother. How about you?
Excellent. Listen, before we get in and talk a little bit about an upcoming event, I know that, you've had so much going on the past few years since we've had you on. You think about the Colorado and things like that. But, I don't want to speak the whole time. Do you want to give a little bit of information about your current project? Whatever you want to share, because I know some people have seen it, of course, at events.
Absolutely. Yeah, I got a 88 4Runner, nice lift off back down with Jamie Tiffany at Jaden Fab. He is doing absolutely killer work. Last year at Mini Nats, we had the frame out there. This year, we put the body on. It's still in, stages, but we're hoping to get that knocked out here early part of next year and debut it hopefully sometime in July of 2027. Freshly done. Got some real cool tricks up my sleeves. Nice. Just ordered a new set of wheels, matching steering wheel, a whole bunch of cool stuff going on with that.
Man, we love to hear it. And you're no stranger to building cool stuff, but also driving your stuff. I'd imagine with this one, are you building it to be a driver, or are you going to, dare I say the T word, trailer?
No, that's the only way I know how. I do not own a full size. I don't own a trailer. As cool as it would be, I love wheels on the ground. To me, that's the only way that this is fun. Cruising with my friends and going down the road as low as possible.
And I remembered that from our conversation, but I just wanted you to be able to reiterate that to the listeners, because what's cool is it kind of just proves that you could build some very, very cool stuff. A lot of guys do it, and it's awesome to see that. But before we talk a little bit about the cruise, tacos and tailgates, the truck show, anything else going on in your neck of the woods? I know you're kind of spacked out in an area where you could go different angles, north, south, east, west, and hit different mini truckers. But what else you been having going down?
Man, nothing at all, really. We've been working hard on tacos and, hitting a couple of local events, but really up here in the Northeast, there's not a whole lot. We had Maryland Mayhem a couple of weeks ago. Poor Patrick, man, he had just a terrible weather day, but we were still out there supporting him. He really was able to pull together a killer event for what he had to work with. And we have Envy Frenzy coming up in New York in first weekend in August. I believe, which is a throwback show I went to years ago that they're finally bringing back out. It's under the bridge, killer location. I know a lot of guys in the Northeast are really looking forward to that too.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that stuff up too, because I feel like there's sometimes like maybe these events around the country that I'd love to give a shout out to that maybe just aren't on the radar, and especially the Northeast. I mean, some folks kind of maybe tend to think, oh, there's not much going on up there, but really it's the opposite. I mean, there's stuff going on. It's just sometimes you got to go a little bit further for it. But it's great that all of so many of you up there are like very cohesive and you guys support as much as you can. And I've seen that. But speaking of that, the event that you have coming up next month in July 2026, why don't you, reinforce the name, the date, kind of the
Absolutely.
who, what, why, where, when, because I want people to know in this area why they got to get out there.
Absolutely. Like I said, we have a serious lack of events in the Northeast. So I've always tried to do just get people together, man. That's really what it's all about is making connections, making friends, hanging out. Years ago I did Maryland minis meets and we would just meet up at local shops or cruises and different restaurants. I've done, burgers and body drops. And, a few years ago I started tacos and tailgates. And it started as just a simple cruise in at a local taco restaurant that was about 3 miles from my house because I thought, well, I'm here, everyone will come here, great food, but I've actually evolved that into a show. So now it's a tacos and tailgates truck show, specifically trying to get many truckers of the Northeast, the Mid Atlantic, get everyone together. It's on Saturday, July 11th at Fifth Company Brewing in Perryville, Maryland. So it's Cecil County, just south of the Pennsylvania line, close to Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Maryland. Everyone's involved and invited. We have a lot of really cool things going on with that show. We do an official cruise to the show. We don't have the area to cruise like mini nats, but we do. I have two cruise captains, one from the north on 95 and one from the south, that are leading cruises from local rest stops. It's about 5-10 miles from each stop to the show. But what's cooler than seeing 30, 40, 50 lowered trucks all rolling together? Nothing.
Yes.
Absolutely nothing is cooler than that. We all sit out on the strip and watch it at mini nats because it's awesome. So I want the opportunity, or I want to give the opportunity for everyone to be able to do that to the show, even if we can't do it at the show. So
Yeah, we're talking with Matt Hodgson from Downtime Designs.
yes, sir.
And Tacos and Tailgates, the show, a lot of people here, like, by the way, you come up with awesome names, burgers and body chops. I mean, I'm loving this. You had me at tacos. But when people see that, you add the word show to the end, right? And when we've had you on in the past, you talked about the different cruises from the different angles, right? Give us a little bit of information, like, do they have to register as a day of, things like that? So break that down for us, Matt.
The awesome thing is you can register today for the next few weeks, or you can register day of and show up. Whatever is easier for you guys. I know a lot of guys up here, we wait to see what the weather's going to do. Last year in July, it was 100 degrees. It was unbelievably hot, but it was awesome. I mean, the day was hot. The tacos were hotter. You can, come show up or register ahead of time, whatever makes it easier for you guys.
Yep, and when you go out on Facebook, which, let's be honest, right, is really the place. So many people, you create an event there and it's like, hey, if there's not a Facebook event or a page, it's not legit. But if they go out there and they search tacos with an S and tailgates show, 4 words, it's going to give them a lot more information, including the link to the website. But go ahead, we'll put it on the screen as well. What is the website?
It's tacos and tailgates show.com, all one word. We decided to do a show this year and give away some really killer awards. We have aluminum top 25 trophies. We have especially 7 specialty awards that are neon clocks, all custom made. Some of the coolest, or one of the coolest awards we're doing this year that's new, is the furthest distance driven. Because, like you said, I love wheels on the ground, so I want to see who's driving their show truck. But we have a furthest distance, trailered or whatever. But I want to know who's really putting the miles on their mini.
I like it. You've heard boots on the ground, but Matt, we're talking wheels on the ground, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
When you think about the support of the local community and people kind of coming from far and wide, as Outcast once said, pimping all the gangster rides, but here we're going to have mini trucks. What do you get most excited about when you think of July 11th on Saturday? You wake up in the morning, hey, today's the day. What are you most excited about, Matt?
Dude, I love seeing my friends. It puts a smile in my heart when I see my friends rolling in, whether they're, a lot of my friends and club members are there to help me, or the friends that I'm going to make that day. The guy with the fresh primered S10 static dropped on 15s that rolls into his first truck show. Last year there was a kid, I hate that I can't remember his name, but he had a static drop hard body and it was mainly stock, but it was awesome. A kid, younger guy, getting into it for the first time, but really just I'll remember his name, I'm sure, sometime laying in bed tonight.
Oh, yeah.
But just seeing him there and talking to him, he was so excited. And that makes me so excited. I'm still into this like I was when I was 14, 15, 16 years old. Nothing has changed. I'm mini truck through and through. Um, and another thing that really, really excites me, the whole reason we do this show, other than to bring people together, is a little bit of mental health awareness. One of our friends up here in the Northeast, Joshua Lone, he took his own life. And I don't think any of us really knew what was going on, but I don't want any of my friends or anyone I've ever met to feel that alone. I want everyone to know, hey, you can call my cell phone. You can shoot me an email. You can text me. You can do whatever that I want to hang out. I'll listen to you cry or complain or whatever, anything. Like, tell me what's going on. Let's get through it together. Let's get through the other side of this because that's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And it hurts just thinking that someone I knew you was friends with that I didn't know. And it really, the slogan for our show is Mini Trucks Big Cause, because I want to raise awareness. I want to raise, we're raising funds to actually donate to a scholarship in his name. Josh was a teacher at a tech school. So we donate a portion of our proceeds to a scholarship fund, Joshua Lone Memorial Scholarship Fund.
Yeah, wow. Thanks for sharing that. I mean, that's super heavy. And although I never knew, it reminds me of like Dave Mira's story, the legendary BMX rider, right? I mean, none of his friends really knew. They said, hey, we just talked to him the day before. But to Matt's point, the thing that I really want to reinforce, so we've said this only a few times over the course of our time with our show, but if you need help, reach out to a friend. Don't feel like, hey, if I talk to a friend, they're going to think less of me or these challenges that I'm dealing with. Because Matt, you said it, you hit the nail on the head, that oftentimes it's things that go unnoticed because people kind of keep it to themselves. But we want people to know, to your point, that there is help, and even if it's just talking to a friend.
Absolutely. We're always there. And I hope anyone who knows me and knows you, I know you and I have had conversations, like we're just always there. If you need me, call me. I promise you I will answer or call back as soon as I can. Uh, I don't want anyone to go through that struggle alone.
Yeah, well said. And something I wanted to reinforce, right? Keep me honest. Last time we had you on, you talked about you have a fairly big family, right?
Yes.
And you think about the balance that you've had, of your career, the stuff, your hobbies, the kids, the wife. Oh, by the way, I'm throwing this event. I think the positive aspect of that, Matt, is I often tell people, I've had friends over the years, like you don't see them very often. And it's like they kind of abandon one hobby, but I like to focus on the positive and say, like, look what Matt's doing, right? It's not easy to balance all these different pieces of life, but you're out there doing it and you're showing people that it's like, hey, you don't have to focus on just one particular thing. It's like, look, I'm dabbling in my hobby and family life, and I'm still enjoying life.
I appreciate that, man. I take that as a huge compliment. I have a wife and 4 kids, and we've seen every ice rink between California and Connecticut and Maryland, where my sons play hockey, my daughters figure skate. It's a we're constantly on the run. But yes, we try. My wife and I are a glutton for punishment. The weekend after tacos and tailgates, we're putting on a book convention. We own a bookstore outside of this, so we both work 9 to 5s. We both have side jobs. I do design work on the side, and she runs a bookstore, and we do that together. And it it's not easy, but we
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah, well said. I know the website, talks about the cruise, the show, the derby. And I know not everybody can always, keep some of the website stuff updated as maybe as much as like a Facebook page, right? But talk to us about some of the other things, because if I recall correctly, there are, this is kind of a family atmosphere. I mean, not even kind of, it is a family atmosphere, my
Absolutely.
understanding. So the kiddos can come out and have a good time as well.
Absolutely. There's a playground on site, right on the grounds. I own Downtime Designs. I do art, I do painting. I have lots of fun toys, airbrush, etc., that I will bring out to the show. We set up a little tent. Kids, adults, whoever can come over and paint and draw, and we have hundreds of custom mini truck coloring sheets that I've been working on the side just for fun, and go out and try your hand at watercolor painting or acrylics. And like I said, I have all this stuff out there just for fun. And the Pinewood Derby, we're again something I've always thought would be fun to see at a show is guys make these little cars out of, like they did it in Boy Scouts or Cub Scouts. And I have a 40-foot long aluminum derby track that it's a $10 buy-in to get into the derby, and half the money will go to the winner of the day. So the fastest car of the day will take home whatever half the purse is. The other half gets automatically donated to the scholarship fund. Last year we had a best 2 out of 3 final. It was 2 young kids. It was absolutely awesome. Yeah, there were people cheering. There were people maybe side betting. I don't know, but there was a lot of fun going on there.
Yeah, and I love it because when you think about, depends where you live in the country. Like down here, I don't really hear much of like the derby things. I know Bill at Camp and Drag years ago did the full size derby cars, right? And there's a few things Red Bull does, but it's neat because if you think about that stuff, like if you watch the movie The Sandlot,
Mhm.
when that film comes out in the early 90s, it resonated so well with the older generation because it reminded them as being a kid outside the soda pop shop, baseball cards.
Yeah,
It was that era, right? That setting. So to me, like when you factor in the derby and things like this, part of it's part of a thread of America, right? Some of these things are maybe a little bit old school for kids today because they want
absolutely.
to have an iPad. But I love, Matt, that you're helping to incorporate those different threads of our history of a country into the event, which is cruising, getting people together. Oh, by the way, you had me at tacos and stuff for the kids.
I mean, we're throwing the show that we would want to attend,
Yeah.
with our families, with our friends, bring everyone together. I mean, the show doesn't start till noon. So it gives everyone the chance. Like, I have things I have to do Saturday morning. So I'm sure you have things you have to do too. The show's, from 12 to 6. So you can sleep in a little bit late, jump in, join the cruise, come down early, stay late, whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, and when you go to tacosandtailgatesshow.com, there is an agenda on there. And that's one fantastic thing because I've went to a lot of shows as you have over the years. And I know people love getting folks together, but sometimes people will unknowingly extend out an event, awards kind of run long and things like that. But you got a solid timeline. You're thinking like 12 to 5 ish, let's call it 6, maybe after awards are done. But it gives people the opportunity to go back home if they want to go out and get a bite to eat, if the tacos are wearing off, or get back and kind of chill out. So I like that it's a 1 day event and you're not overthinking it.
Absolutely. We try to keep it fun, and we have things, if the tacos are wearing off, the event is at a brewery, which for fun for kids and adults, but they the food there is absolutely fantastic. They do have more than tacos. The burgers, chicken, sandwiches, all types of good things. And the winner of the club participation award does get a case of Fifth Company Brewing beer. It's a custom beer that they brew just for our event. It's called a Slam Cerveza. And I mean, I'm not a big drinker, but people really do seem to like it. The bottles, we do custom bottles and everything for the event. But that winner is for club participation. You don't show up. Showing up is not participating. It's each person is eligible for up to 4 points in club participation. If you join the cruise, you get a point. If you race with Pinewood Derby car, you get a point. If you pre-register for the show, you get 2 points. And if you just show up, you get 1 point. So each person in your club, so you could have a smaller club win the club participation trophy because it's not club attendance.
I like it. And I've tried to think over the years on how to improve club participation when I was trying to think of something for Mike and those guys when they were doing their event. And I
Mhm.
love how you factored in different things because it's easy to go, oh, well, we had 10 body drop trucks out there and there you go, give it to these guys. But it kind of gives even the smaller clubs a little bit more of an opportunity as well. And I think that that's fantastic. Last I heard, Phil Fowler said that he might be coming for the crowd. I don't know, man.
I know for a fact Phil Fowler will be there. I consider him one of my best friends, and he's already RSVP'd. So
Yeah, he's
I'm
real deal, Holyfield. Now
absolutely.
you knew exactly where the conversation was going. I know Downtime, Time Designs, that's your brand. You mentioned if people want to do some artwork or some illustration or what, all of those cool things that you do, they can kind of get with you I want to make sure you give out your information in a little bit, but you've got a other couple key players. You mentioned the brewing company and what they're doing, but I know that you've got a couple other names you probably want to reinforce. So why don't you mention them?
Absolutely. Cars, auto repair, and accessories, have been a blessing to us in helping run the Pinewood Derby. They have sponsored that fully year after year and have really stepped up and become a partner with us in this. The brewing company's been fantastic. Our DJ Double Tap. Toby Tap has been a long time mini trucker. He last year when we threw this show for the first time, we had no capital to back us up. It was all coming out of my pocket, and I was kind of running low. Toby jumped in and said, "Hey, don't worry about it." He said, "I'll take care of it." And luckily after the show, we were able to square up a little bit with him. But
Wow.
he even this year he joined in for a second year, and he's been again a blessing. Everything about this has just been really heaven sent. It's really been great working with all these companies that just to want to put something on bigger than ourselves.
Got it. Now I got a serious question for you. You think there's going to be any yacht rock heard at this event?
With DJ Double Tap. Don't you worry about that. Some Christopher Cross. No,
Never.
he'll take care of it. I'm not allowed to be on
Right.
on the ones and twos because they don't want none of this smoke. It'd be
Well,
bad.
yeah. So exactly, because my wife and I we were cruising the other day listening to yacht rock, which you and I both definitely love those
Absolutely.
playlists. And she's like, "What are we listening to? This is putting me to sleep." I was like, "Look, this is like G funk before G funk. It's slow.
That's it.
It's. I mean, I don't have a yacht, but I'm rocking. You know what I mean?"
I mean, it's high 70s, low 80s, and smooth.
Yeah. What's ironic is my wife, even though it's Father's Day weekend, I said, "Sure, go ahead and go." She's going on Thursday very early, no, Friday very early up to Plattsburgh, way up north, like almost to Canada. She goes to visit
Oh
her
wow.
friend, and she's coming back like Sunday, like around 2:12, 2, something like that. And we were talking about, she was telling me what the weather was going to be up there. And I was like, wow, that's shorts weather. And she's like, shorts, like 70s? I'm like, yeah, that's
Oh
shorts
yeah.
weather.
That's perfect
That's,
weather. It was
yeah.
78 today and absolutely perfect.
We're talking with Matt Hodgson, talking about cruise to tacos and tailgates. It is actually a truck show, even though it says cruise, because as he's alluded, there's the cruise piece, there's the event, there's that stuff for the kiddos. What would you say, like, other than going to the website, right? You've got the agenda, you could register, you've got the date, like everything seems updated there and cohesive. But what maybe is one or two things that you constantly get every year? It's kind of like at Disney. They always, people always go, "What time is the 4 o'clock parade or whatever?" And it's like, well, it's 4 o'clock. But there's things, right? People aren't maybe as in tune with certain things. Are there a few things you really want to reinforce?
I mean, I would say registration is open from 12 to 2. After that, 2 o'clock, we start judging and things like that. Try to get everyone in and together. There is trailer parking. For those who decide not to do wheels on the ground, that's all right. We still love you. There is trailer parking right off site. It's about a quarter mile from the show field. For that information, check the Facebook. It is on the website, but we will keep you updated there. And if you are meeting to do the cruise, you meet anytime between 11:30 and 12. Rollouts at noon, and you'll be to the show by 12:15.
Yeah. And what we'll do is, we're going to post this information. We'll kind of reinforce a few things. But if you're, I'd assume, because I think it was a page, but you probably have also the event
Yes,
on
there's
Facebook.
an event page and a host page.
Yeah, so people, I always highly suggest that you click, interested. If you're kind of 50-50, maybe you got some other stuff going on, but if you're going, select that, because it kind of gives the promoter and or, the folks behind the event a little bit of intel on in terms of who to expect. Now, the cool thing is you mentioned the Derby registration 10. You kept it simple. You go, hey, show pre-reg 20.
$20.
Vendors and sponsor registration, the information's on the website. But like, you didn't overthink it, right? You're like, hey, this is a afternoon event, right? We want to collect a little bit of money, but like you said, proceeds are also going to a great cause. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Absolutely. This is a good old school truck show. I mean, it's $20. You can't buy, a meal at Chick-fil-A for $20 at this
Yeah.
point. So
Tell me about it.
so yeah, I mean, we really, we'll have t-shirts for sale at the event as well as banners. And we try not to do traditional truck show t-shirts. You won't find a
Yeah.
truck on the t-shirt. You have to either check the Facebook or wait and see.
Yeah, it's awesome. So again, tacos and tailgates, very cool name. It is a truck show. It is in Perry with two R's, Perryville. just
Yes,
how
sir.
it sounds, Maryland, MD for those scoring at home, because some people, elementary school was a long time ago for us. So I'm
Yeah.
like, AI, what's the abbreviation for Maryland? It's MD, I believe. But Saturday, July 11th. Now, listen, another serious question. I know you love painting those creepy crawler deals, right?
I do.
Uh, do you end up having buddies going, "Hey, man, I hope you got a little bit of," and trying to bring that stuff?
I mean, every now and again, I'll get someone to do it, but the winner of the best of show for tacos and tailgates will get a hand painted custom creeper of their vehicle. I'll send you a picture of the one
Fantastic.
we did last year for Alan Porta. He was our best of show winner last year, and that creeper really turned out killer. So
That is fantastic. For those that might want to do artwork, right? Because we've seen with how a lot of the vendors in the scene, there's always people looking for new avenues to do like slogan shirts and things like
mhm.
that, or shirts with rides, right? Matt, if they want more information about this event, or let's say they go, "Yo, I heard about Matt up in Maryland. I want to support a local artist." What's the best way for someone to get in contact with you?
Absolutely. My website will land you right with me. You can see some of the artwork on there. It's Downtime Designs with an S.com. So I know a lot of people say, oh, downtown. No, downtime.
Yeah,
So
not downtown Julie
downtimedesigns.com.
Brown. We're not talking MTV style.
No, not today.
Yeah, and when you go to Tacos and Tailgates show, so an S on the end of tailgates and then show.com, you can scroll to the bottom and click downtime designs and link over. You also on the Facebook, I think it's the page I'm on, you have a phone number there. And I would assume
Yep.
as well that's brave of you in this world. But it is good because you're going, "Hey, the line in the sand, I'm having an event. I want you there. And guess what? If you have a question, and you
I'm
don't
there.
wanna click discussion in the,
Yep.
the event, call me."
I mean, call me, text me. It's the same thing I said, at awards, and the same thing I'm telling all the listeners right now. If you need me, if you need someone to talk to, if you feel alone in this world, my phone number is very easy to find, and
Yep.
you can get me. And I'm hoping people don't prank call, prank text, whatever. But
Yeah,
I mean, that's the risk I run. But I'm 10 toes down. I'm
yeah.
there for whoever needs it.
What I always tell, some of the hot chicks that wanna text me, I go, "Look, 8 nines and 10s only," you know what I mean?
No, 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 no,
I
no, no,
gotta
no, no,
draw.
no.
No, I'm just kidding, I'm just
Nope.
kidding.
I got problems enough of my own.
No, I know, I'm just kidding, right? It's always the ones on Instagram that go, "Hey, I want to be friend with you," and I tell my wife, I go, "Look, I got all these Russian chicks, they wanna be my friend, should I?"
Truth be told,
Stupid, right?
my wife runs my Instagram. I do the Facebook. I know how to Facebook. I
Right,
don't know how to
right.
Instagram.
No, 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 I like that. Tacos and Tailgate show. There's so much going on up in that area. As we wind it down, we could easily tip our cap to all the different clubs and so many great people up there. They come out, there's a cohesiveness between so many of the Northeasters. I'll call you guys. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of the region, but I'm super excited for you. I know that you've thoroughly enjoyed doing this.
Very
You
much.
do a lot for the scene. People don't maybe always see that. And I'm glad to hear that things are, hitting on all cylinders for you. And, you made some sacrifices. Like you sold that awesome Colorado that I are so thankful that I got to ride in. It was on the custom trucks mag from Japan. It was on that cover.
Yep.
And you and I met through Phil Fowler at Mini
Mhm.
Nats one year, so tip of the cap to Jay Bell. But I say that because you're a type of guy that says, "Hey, I know what I want. I'm gonna sell this. I'm gonna work on my next build, and I'm gonna be 4 wheels down on the ground, cruising soon."
Hard work. Never. When I die, no one will ever be able to say that I was lazy. I find that to be a quality that I just don't identify with. I don't understand. We have
Yep.
this one life to live, and I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability, and that's all I want to do.
Dude, if this was a motorcycle gang, we'd slam the gavel down and say, "All right, let's go. Let's get out there." Listen, Matt, thank you so much. The beard's looking good, by the way. Go out there and support. And let's say you're in the general area and for whatever reason you can't make it, share this. Or if you don't even want to share this episode, go and share the event page, tag, tell people, "Hey, there's an event going on Saturday, July 11th." Get the word out. It's free to do that. It helps the big homies out. Matt, thank you so much. Any last words?
I just want to thank all of my staff, all the people that I might be the pretty front man behind tacos and tailgates, but I have so many people working, behind the scenes, helping, with the judging, helping with the parking. My two cruise captains, Tim and Aaron, both awesome guys, great friends who, I kind of reached out. I was like, "Hey, this is my idea. What do you think?" and they were both, yes, let's go. I mean, Phil and the low rollers, like all the guys in low rollers that are just, we're family. Everyone in the Northeast, it really is. There's a lot of different, clubs that have drama, and that's everywhere. But
Sure.
we up here, we really are a pretty tight knit group, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of these guys that come out and support me and support tacos and tailgates.
Yeah, we love some Phil Fowler. And keep me honest, Phil may not be able to participate because isn't his all welded shut on the back? I mean, he doesn't even have a tailgate. Just kidding. Just kidding.
No one in my club is actually allowed to register for the show. That's something
Awesome.
I don't want anyone to think, because I mean, these awards, they're awesome. I'll be flat out, they're really cool, but I don't want anyone to think that there's any sort of favoritism or anything.
Right.
So my club, I love my guys. They're there and to support me and help me and help grow the show and build the show, but they are not allowed to register.
Dude, we appreciate you, Matt. Go out there, support the real deal Holyfield, and keep holding it down in the Northeast.
All right, appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.